Welcome to today's episode of the Group Therapy Podcast. Today we have actor, writer, director, coming out of the Dayton, Ohio area, Adam Clevenger, and co-host today, Erin R Ryan again.
I'm back.
America's sweetheart. There we got.
Well, thank you.
So
everybody's gonna get so sick of me. I don't sick of me.
They got sick of me yet, and I'm annoying as hell. So,
No.
Adam, tell us about yourself, sir.
Well, you kind of lined it up. I writer is probably true. Director is sort of true. I did one movie. I'm working on another one that's it's post COVID and post. It's been a little bit more difficult. So working on that. Acted in 21 things, at least half of them with Erin for sure. And father of 4 triplets, wife of 26 years, is chugging along on all those things.
Dang, we're really close here, man. 4 kids, me.
All right.
4 boys, not triplets.
Geeking out over stuff.
Yeah. Been with the same woman 30 years. So
yeah. Well, I'm at 30 years with her, just 26 married. So yeah.
25 years married, 30 years together. So yeah.
Right there, contemporaries.
Heck, can I ask how old you are?
I just turned 50.
I just turned 50. God dang, seriously. When did you turn 50?
May 29th.
June 19th.
Man.
Jeez, dude.
So close. Meant to be. Still a Gemini, or you jump?
Yeah. Do what?
You still a Gemini, or did you jump to the next one?
I'm just a Gemini. You go like 2 more days, I'm whatever comes after Gemini.
Well, hey, we're twins. It works out well.
There we go.
Wow.
And we've worked with some of the same people. I've been in a couple movies. I've worked with Henrik.
Sure.
And I've worked with Erin now. And but not in a movie.
Well,
Erin's well, technically Erin, we've been in a movie together. We just never been in the same
interacted. Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
What movie was that?
A Bulldog for Christmas.
Bulldog.
Ah, one I was definitely not in. Okay, wonderful, very fun though. A lot of great people in that one.
Yeah, all because I became friends with Andy Kopp, met Eric and Henrik, and when I was in Andy's movie, then I became friends with those guys. Then that expanded to become friends with Erin, and then we just kept getting bigger.
Wow.
So
which of Andy's movies were you in?
I was in Church of the Eyes, the one that never got finished.
I see. I never got to meet him. I heard about him because he was a huge influence on everything. I mean, you talk about why I'm here now. I mean, it starts, him and before him, I would guess, because I kind of came up the same way you did. Henrik was influenced by Andy, and then Eric is influenced by Henrik, and then I did my movie after working with Eric. So, it's crazy how things build, and I'm trying to help the people behind me up the ladder too. So it's great how this web kind of works.
Oh yeah, all because I moved to Tip City, found out there was a local public access TV show 2 blocks away, and that's the one that Andy ran.
Nice.
And we became friends there, and we hung out. I was supposed to be in there because this is where this show originally came from. This was originally a public access television show in 2001. And then it got kind of shelved until all of a sudden it's like, hey, I can put this stuff on YouTube. So now I do it.
Nice.
And
the miracle of the internet.
Yes. Oh my. And everybody's like, do you have any of that original footage? I'm like, I have some of the raw footage of my old shows. None of the finished episodes, because those all went to the TV station, and I don't think I got the first copy of them back.
Sure.
I was down there a while back in Tip, and I'm like a block away, and I'm like, they're open. I wonder if they have anything left over from like 20 years ago just floating around there that I can see if they have any of my old stuff. So, but
yeah, I was 40 when I hadn't done any of this stuff, and I was wandering around Cinema Wasteland, which is a great convention if you haven't been, up in Strongsville.
Yep.
And I was just minding my own business. I hadn't done anything acting or anything since high school. And I'm walking by the Hendrix booth up in up there. He had taken a break for some reason, and sitting there was Joni Durian, who's been in a lot of Hendrix movies. And then I was chatting with her about Babysitter Massacre, and in walks Erin R Ryan, your beloved co-host. And I'm actually looking right now at the copy of Babysitter Massacre across the way from now that she signed for me. And I watched it, and she said, "You gotta come to our premiere." And I had no idea where that premiere would be. And I happened to find out it was in Englewood, which is just down hop, skip, and a jump from me. And I was like, well, heck, and it was like just like 2 weeks from then. It was like it was just meant to be. So I went there, met Henrik and everybody, and I got chat with Henrik, and he wanted me to do a small bit in Awkward Thanksgiving, and it just all kind of fell together. It's weird how things happen. But yeah, very much the beginning of everything.
Heck yeah. Well,
I was gonna say I was so excited to meet you and know that you were close. I was like, you should totally come to the thing if you want to see what we do. Yeah, it was really important. Yeah,
that's what I love, because that's the way it was too. I get random like text messages on Facebook, and they're like, "You busy Friday?" No, you're coming to the movie premiere, right? I guess. And then Andy's like, "Yeah, Hendrix movie's coming out." I'm like, "All right, cool." And then and then become friends with Hendrix. Then went further than that. But yeah, it's one of the ones where somebody be like, "We're premiering this movie. We're premiering this movie." Ironically enough, my friend Jason, all the way over in Pennsylvania, was the one that contacted me about Slaughterhouse Slumber Party. And he's like, "Dude, you gotta come." So this is the first time Jason and I met in person. And we always had the whole thing where you meet your friend, you never get to meet your internet friends. So it went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Finally, we end up meeting over, and of course, he comes up and he hugs me, and I'm like, okay, yeah, okay.
Dustin's
I like
a genius.
if I hug you, because that's just how I am.
Yeah, Dustin's a genius. I liked a lot of his things. It saddens me that he has stopped making movies now. He was doing this one with puppets, or the Puppet Monster Massacre or some. I don't know if he's going to finish that or not. I hope so. But were you doing a voice for that one?
Yeah, I'm in it. Yeah, it's
Awesome.
He's really working diligently on it. It's a very slow process. So yeah, he's really full on, like making that work. But yeah, I did probably like my most extensive voice work, and I really had a great time doing it. It was super fun. My voice, it sounds like my tone, but it definitely is not the way that I speak. So it was really fun to do.
He had some really ingenious stuff, and then his effects were on top of it. I always really admired his stuff, and I like to see more. But I understand it's not easy. It's not easy. God, I know it's not easy making movies. So
it's
I understand
hard
why.
to do this stuff and have a whole other life, and I know you know that more than anybody. Like it's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
The sad part is that I got my copy of Slumber Party, and I loaned it to somebody like a couple days later, and I've never seen it again. And so I have no way of getting another copy. And I'm like, it's nowhere out there. You can't find a website.
Really?
Yeah. And so now I'm like, I gotta get a hold of him. Like, do you have any copies? Like so. But
worth a shot.
What's funny is you talk about Cinema Wasteland being like, finding all these people up here. I got technically cast in a movie at Horror Hound years upon years ago when it was in Columbus one time. And this guy comes up to me and goes, "Are you an actor?" And I went, "No." And he's like, "I love your look." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And he goes, "Are you interested in acting?" I'm like, I don't, yeah, I guess, maybe. And he's like, "I have a role, man, that you'd be perfect for." And I'm just like, "I'm sure you do." Okay.
Suspicious. Yeah.
Like, mm-hmm. And he goes, "So I'm doing this like Appalachian Manson family thing." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And he goes, "I want you to be the cult leader." And at the time I still had hair. But I had the beard going and the whole 9 yards. And then he said, I'm like, "Okay." And I was like, "Send me some info and stuff, and I'll see." And Monday comes around, I'd kind of forgot about it, and then like I start getting these emails from this guy, and I'm like, all right, okay, and then he's like, we're filming in, I think it was like super South Kentucky. It's like 5 hours from door to door, and I'm like, that's a little farther than I want to drive on a weekend. And then he wants me to shoot. I would leave work, drive all the way down there, shoot the entire weekend, leave, come home, and I would have had to drive and go to work the next day with no downtime. And I'm like, yeah, I can't do that. I got
Yeah.
kids at home. So
That's crazy. Like you don't know the person and you
oh
got to
no.
drive all the way down to where you don't know. And then
Mhm.
he's going to take you out into the hollers. Like you don't, that sounds really,
All my friends are like, they was trying to make a snuff film with you, and I was like,
oh no.
my friends are real supportive. Let me put it that way.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of scary.
But, uh,
It's
so
funny when you first get into the acting thing, the going out and doing a weekend thing like that sounds great. You want to get in business, meet people, all that kind of fun thing. And then after you've been in it for a while, that sounds terrible. Can we just do a 1 day, 5 hour shoot and call it a day? Have fun. You get some drinks afterwards. I'm done. I'd rather do like a 1 day shoot with an interesting character than ever take on a starring role ever again because I'm just old and I'm tired. I have kids in high school and kids in college, and it's just busy time. Like I said, having no downtime, not possible. I got to go back to work. Not a chance, man. I need to breathe, watch some football a little bit before I come back into that grind.
Yeah.
Wow.
100%.
Yeah. You and Mike making, being main characters in your films. Like, oh my God, dude. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a
I
lot.
was a young pup when I made my movie. Now I'm old, so it's a little more tiring. But
Young pup.
but Canastaro's, it couldn't have worked any other way. That
Yeah.
role was it. That was for him. I mean,
Yeah.
he was that character. Mine just came about just because that was the only way I could make it work. I guess same thing for Mike too, because he had an actor that was going to be that role, but had some conflicts, and it was a long way away that person worked and lived, and it was going to be impossible to make the movie and constantly making adjustments and being able to make arrangements for that person to
Right.
come down. And when you're the main actor, you can just, okay, I need to get a scene. I'm gonna hop out in my barn, build a little set, film myself, move on, and it's just a heck of a lot easier. So I understand it's invention is necessity, so you have to do what you got to do. But yeah, I didn't want to be the main character of my movie. I just kind of where it worked out. Same thing with Mike. So you got to do what you got to do.
Kicked its ass. You're awesome. I love
Please.
that movie. It's so good.
Oh, please. I appreciate it. I love it. I really do. I had a wonderful cast. I mean, starting not only with you, but Noah Shane as White Ben was a wonderful villain. I mean, what an amazing villain. And then have Canastaro and Vincent Holiday as my brothers, have a comedy troupe you can't beat that. And of course, my hero, the legend, Jeff Berkman as my dad. I was so blessed in that movie. Just it couldn't have been bad because you all were so good. How could I mess it up? So
they always say, man, you cast the people that cast your friends because you can rely on them. And when you cast yourself, you're the one person for 100% fact you can rely on yourself. So,
and that's it.
Yeah,
and that's it. This second movie I'm making now, and I don't want to give too much away, but I couldn't use a lot of people from the first one that I used in the second one because originally this was going to be a sequel to the first one, but I kind of moved it around and didn't do that. But I wanted to work with some new actors, just get a feel for it. And boy, you are 100% correct. Using your friends but that can work and not work. Sometimes your friends are horrible actors, and that makes you look terrible. I was very, very blessed that my friends happened to be exquisite. And casting is 90% of directing. So I only had to be 10% of a good director, which is about pushing my limits. So now when I'm going on to this new movie with people I don't know as well, it's been a learning experience for sure. You run across people who are wonderful. You run across people who turn out to be unreliable. And then your movie has a bit of a problem. So I've had to do a couple of different rewrites and things around. And it's been a struggle for sure, but that's a definite lesson to learn. Definitely use people especially for longer character roles. And then another thing I learned that Erin Ryan did not get to have the experience of because I used her over a course of 2 years sporadically, which was crazy. That movie got made. because she was helpful. But I would never do that again. Now I'm trying to get people in and out in a weekend and then move their stuff later, because that's boy, I should have done in the first place. I mean, you
There's
got
so
really
much
lucky the first time.
there's so much stress that comes along with that. Like, having like sort of piecing it out among like even months. Like it's just like you don't know what's going to happen in somebody's life. There's all kinds of variables that I can't imagine how you dealt with it. I appreciate your patience.
Well, no, it was all me. I mean, these are all things that mistakes I made, and I was warned of them ahead of time. And one of my favorite things I did on my movie was at the end of it, I did a commentary track for my movie, and the whole thing was for first time directors and mistakes I made so they wouldn't make them, because I wasn't ready to direct. I really wasn't. But I had a character I wanted to do, and I had one locations I wanted to use, and some of them were being torn down like really, really soon. Like Starbase Columbus we went to was being sold out. The theater I used for the church scene was going to be gone. So a lot of things I wanted to use weren't going to be there again. So I had to kind of jumpstart the process before I ever really learned how to direct. So it was a lot of things. I just got super lucky that things fell into place that I actually got to make it. But yeah, silly things like that. And I was also new to acting too. So it went back to Paul to what I said before, was at that time I was willing to spend a whole weekend and act and go out there for no money and have a ball and enjoy it. Yeah. And I thought all actors were that way. I really did, because I was so new. I thought they were all that way. And that turned out to not be the case. It's just not being educated to how things really are, and I wasn't trying to be inconsiderate. I just did not simply understand the sacrifice people were making.
Yeah.
And it was a miracle it got made. It just because of friendships and loyalty of friends around me to put up with my bullshit to actually get me through it. But looking back at it now, I have a lot of regret for how I did it and how I worked with everything, because I would have done it a lot differently now than I did back then, for sure.
Yeah. Well, I was supposed to shoot my first movie, my first short last year. I had got my budget, I had cast, I had locations, I had everything. And like all of a sudden, like two of my actors just ghosted me. And they're like, I'm like, dude, I want to shoot. Or the ones that were like, well, I can't shoot. I can only shoot this weekend. I'm like, let's see what I can do. Well, no one else can shoot that weekend. Yep. So that basically took them off the schedule. So I was like, all right, I appreciate, whatever. I had one who was going to shoot their stuff off, and just send it to me so I'd have their footage, and which worked. And I was going to have Erin come in and save the day at the end, which is no problem. I was not going to lose Erin.
I want to do it.
Yeah, and she's still going to do it. But it's the one location got taken away from me because I had this whole scene set up. I was going to have because I was supposed to do this one movie that had aliens in it. We were going to have aliens versus magic players. And it was going to take place in my shop, which was easy because it's my shop. I own it. It's my location. I can shoot from however long I want because I don't have to worry about anything. But I was going to use the storefront, not next door, but like right next door. And we were going to have a scene where they sneak through like a closet, like a room, and they were going to come out into this beauty salon. And we had this whole thing set up that they were going to come out in there, and the aliens were already going to be there. And the lady decided to sell that and then move to a smaller place at the end. So now that's a church. So now they want nothing to do with me. So I lost that location. And I'm like, so it's still not off the table. Just the entire script has been changed except for like 2 scenes.
Oh no.
But it's like, I've got that beat on this movie. I needed a rundown warehouse, kind of an old dilapidated building that was kind of falling apart as like in ruins. Mike Canestaro, our dear friend Mike Canestaro, likes to ride bikes. He rides bikes everywhere. He finds these trails. And on this trail, he found an old train depot that had been sitting there for like 150 years. It was in bad shape, 150 years. He takes me out on a Monday to look at this place, a Monday. I look at him like, this is wonderful. This is great. But I'd been there one time. So I'm like, this is perfect. I write out my script. I get everything out. I block it, all his plans. I show up with my crew on Saturday. I come up the crest of a railroad track. It's going to be where the building is. Get to the top of the railroad track. No building. No building. And I can't fathom where the hell did the building go?
The whole building?
And I looked around and I found a trail that led to the building, but the building was gone. And I'm like, what the hell? I'm panicking. Am I thinking I'm freaking out in the wrong location? No. Between Monday, when Mike Canistar showed it to me, and Saturday, when I was going to film, a construction crew came in, tore the son of a bitch down, hauled all the bricks away, and I'm left with an open field where my friggin' set's supposed to be.
No.
Wow.
Sad.
You
150
nothing's ever that
years.
fast. That's crazy.
Oh, that was terrifying. That climb up that hill was just surreal. I'm like, there should be a building here.
Where the hell did
Who
You're like,
broke
is
my
anybody
building?
filming this moment? Because this is drama.
Oh, I don't know if
Dramatic.
any of my friends. I don't know if any of my friends filmed it or not. They should have, because
Yeah.
I didn't know what to do. It's
Your
gone.
Flabbers were gasted.
Blabbers were gasted for sure. Anyway, so
Horrible.
that was terrifying.
Wow.
That's awful.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. 100% got me beat. Jeez. The building is gone. I just got
Talk about disappointment.
Yeah.
Terrible.
I can just see that. The sheer look at the feet when you
Yeah.
come across there.
I just couldn't fathom it. It was one of those experiences like building. We're building. No. And I was looking around like I was an idiot. Yeah, you look around the house for things that you're like, it's got to be right around this corner, right in this underneath this thing. You looked at 4 times, like, where's the building? I'm looking around the corner, looking at maybe I look over here. No building.
Like buildings just don't move. That's crazy.
Buildings just don't move. But they were so efficient. I mean, I've seen the same orange barrels on 75 for the last 10 years I've lived here. But by God, I need a building, and that's gone, and the bricks are gone. Nothing. Field. Crazy.
Yeah.
They've been-
Oh God. How
they've-
heartbreaking.
They've been tearing the building apart that I've worked at for a year, and it's been 2 weeks, and I think they've still got rubble there. Jeez, just a handful of days. They came in and gone.
Gone. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, it's not now. See, I recently got lucky, and now I have a new location. But the crappy part about having this new location is that I would literally have to track everybody 3 hours north.
Vey.
Because I have a cabin in the woods.
Nice.
And we have to film it from a good location or a good angle, because there's a house on one side, house on the other side.
Sure.
You film it, and make it look like it's out in the middle of nowhere. But I now have a cabin on the lake, and
Nice.
yeah, and it's an old, and Tina's like, yeah, you want to use it, we own it, go for it. I'm like, yes. So now everybody else is like, can we borrow your? I think that was the first thing Henry.
Right.
You got a cabin? Yes.
Yeah.
I can film around that.
Yeah. No, that's 100%. Our friends Sean and Melissa Walters had a ranch out in Trotwood, and boy, everybody and their brother, same thing. Wait, you got horses? You got a dungeon? You got a huge house? You got land? Oh yeah.
Right.
So Er's been there a few times.
Mm-hmm. I miss
Poison Ivy's there.
God. Oh, I did get Poison Ivy there. That was fun.
Yeah.
Poison Ivy.
Wow. Anyway, so yeah, there's no secrets in that kind of thing. Once you find a great location, that gets spread around really fast.
Yep. And like almost instantly, as soon as people, I think we posted that we got our cabin, and then like immediately, like 3 people was like, "Hey, can we film there?" I'm like, "Dude, I haven't been there since we got it. I've been there once since we got it. I went there for the
So how many
weekend."
people have filmed in your store though? You use that quite a bit or no?
I have not got to film anything in there. We actually are working on an idea for like a almost like a web show.
Mm-hmm.
I want to play a guy who's slowly going insane, and he starts talking to things, and I want puppets to be his like. But I want, but like his other the one I wanted to tell you about, Skeletor. I want like a Skeletor looking puppet with the
yeah.
And I've opened that up to a few people. I'm like, hey, if you ever want to film at my comic shop or game shop, you can come up here and film. But it'll eventually get used for my movie, one of my movies.
I hope so.
So
Production value for sure. Like I said, when I used the Star Trek store I worked at in Columbus, that was wonderful. This is a wonderful set to shoot on. So you got all kinds of knickknacks and things to look at. You got to use it.
yep.
Mhm.
Which Star Trek shop in Columbus did you work at?
There's a place called Starbase Columbus. It was there
Okay.
from 90. You ever been there? Ever heard of it?
Oh yeah, I've been there
Okay.
back in probably late '90s.
Yep, that would have
Yep.
been great. Yeah, it opened in 93 and it closed down, 2015, right after we finished shooting there. There was like the month or so, and then it closed down. So, yeah, Amazon killed us.
Sad.
But how does that work out for you? You stayed solvent in the biz. How did you manage to pull through?
I've been growing.
Wonderful.
And I did Amazon for a while when we first opened this location. And I ran that out until kind of Amazon started like making all these weird rules, and they're like, well, you can't sell this, can't sell this, can't sell this unless you ship it to us. Then we do it direct, but then we got to pay storage fees and all this other stuff. I'm like, no, I like being able to keep it in the store. If it's sold in the store, I would just take it off the system, and then whatever. They took that option away from me. Now I got my eBay guy, so every Friday and Saturday he comes in, just here you go, goes out the door. Video games have picked up big time.
Nice.
Comic books have done pretty well, and Magic. I make a ton of money off Magic.
Really? I never played that. I need to try that sometime.
I would not.
You would not?
You would not?
I played it off and on for years. They call it cardboard crack for a reason. People get addicted to it, and you will. And mind you, when I started playing, it's almost a completely different game from when I started playing to where it is now.
Yeah.
So, I wouldn't recommend it. But I mean, if you want to, and like if you want to just like, if you want to do competitive, but if you just want to hang out, play card games with like your friends and your family and stuff, yeah, it's fine. But
I was in the Lord of the Rings card games. I'm a huge Lord of the Rings geek.
Mm-hmm.
And what frustrated with that game is I had a really great deck and I put a lot of money into it. And they came out with more and more and more and more expansions, and all those expansions destroyed everything I had ever built. Like my stuff couldn't compete with those anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I got so frustrated with that. I would never again. Never again.
Did
so
you
Magic same way? Yeah,
pretty much. Did you check out any of the Lord of the Rings Magic cards?
No, I'm sure they're beautiful though.
Oh yeah, they're fantastic. I'm sitting there staring at them because I don't play anymore, but I had all the Nazgul and then the Ring Race cards, and I'm like sitting there staring at them. I'm like, these are pretty. It's just
I got my Nazgul store right over there.
Nazgul.
I love my Nazgul.
And but no, that's fun. My wife, I had to tell her no. That's like one of the few times I've ever told my wife no, because they had Fallout Magic cards, and she loves Fallout, and she's like, "Ooh," and I'm like, "No." So I got her the promotional poster, the nice chromey poster that's hanging up, and yeah. So yeah, I don't tell her no, but I was like, I don't recommend.
It's not a good.
No,
not absolutely. A good road.
Yeah, but no, I was able to. I actually, post-pandemic, I really thrived.
Wonderful.
And that's given the fact that I'm still doing pretty good. I'm not doing as well as I was, and we're still doing pretty good. But we had a store open up about 9 miles up the road, and we had another store open about 10 miles up the road, and we had a store open up about 15 miles down the road. That does the exact same stuff. And it didn't really affect me. I lost a few customers, but not money-wise. I don't know. More people are spending money, but not as many customers. I don't know. But I still had my busy days, man. I was our cell tower went out locally, so I had no phone from Wednesday to Saturday.
Nice.
And I was still packed. Excuse me. Joe was slow on Thursday, but Wednesday busy, Friday busy. Everything was busy except for, I'm like, all right, cool. Well, and yeah. And not gonna lie, I'm nepotism. I have my son that works at my shop on my days that I'm not there.
That's smart. I can't wait till my kids get old enough I can start doing that for them.
Yeah, I'm like, Joe, go work at the shop. Okay, yeah, he's my go-to.
He's your
He's there
minion.
with me Wednesday, Thursday, wait, by himself Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then I give him off Monday, Tuesday, and then we're both off Sunday. So,
All right. Very cool.
but so what made you? I know this is bad. We're going way off topic, but whenever we're going to circle back around, what made
That's
you
fine.
get in? What made you get into outside of going to Cinema Wasteland? What made you get into working in film?
Well, I always loved acting, so I did some, all through theater in high school, and then I did a little bit of pro wrestling because I was a big pro wrestling guy. My body couldn't take it though; I got beat up too much, so I couldn't say that. But the theatrics of it and the acting part of it, I really enjoyed. So it was just a part of what I like to do, and I was PE teacher for a while, so being in front of people was never a problem. I didn't have any of that fright; it didn't never bother me. And I love movies. I've got like everybody else, but I got tens of thousands of movies, and it's just one of those things that when invited me down there, and Henrik said, "You try to do this," and the first thing I did was a complete ad lib. I got a little bit more of an ego than I probably should, but the first thing I did, I'm conceited enough. Let's just do this, and they loved it. I'm like, really? And then the scene went pretty well, and I got along with everybody, and they wanted to bring me back, and I had a love for it. And the next movie they put me in was Scare Waves after Awkward Thanksgiving, and you want to talk about a jump up and craziness? I had to work straight with Jeff Berkman, the only person I worked with in the entire movie, and that was a master class, and how to learn how to work, and working with him was just a joy. So I was like, oh man, you gotta be kidding me. If I can do this is great. So I just kept building it. I kept working with people, and like I said, but I made friends in it. I was friends with Aaron, friends with Berkman, and then Berkman got me into a play, Night of the Living Dead Live. He was doing a play, and from there I got to work with Joni Durian again in a theater role, and we got to be super tight. And I met Noah Shane in that, who ended up being in People to Kill. And it was just all networking of people, and all of us loved what we were doing, and we were all younger then, and we all had energy, and we wanted to do things together. So, it just got to be growing. Had a network of friends who are all actors. I loved making movies. And then I did a movie with Eric Whiting, who, have you ever had him on your show?
Yeah, Eric's one of the first guests I ever had on my show. Yeah. Except for the show sounds like horrible in it, but yeah.
He was the most, so what I'm looking for, cooperative and director I've ever worked with. He worked with you on creating a character. He was super great. Yeah. Say again?
Like collaborative, like really creative.
Thank you. Erin knows words. Yeah. She's smart. I'm not smart.
Well, no, that's just smart. What I feel.
Yeah, go ahead.
Adam, you're one of my favorite people to act with. Not to interrupt you.
Yeah.
You really are. Like you have first of all, your energy is always on point. I don't know how you do it, but it's consistently throughout a shoot. It's just always the same level, unless you need to amp it up or something like that. But it never drops. Like it's always the same. I don't know how you do it. You maintain that the whole time, and it's really like refreshing. It's awesome. Like I've never had, I don't recall ever having a bad experience or awkward experience ever working with you, like as an actor, because there's a natural ease there too.
I appreciate that coming from you, especially because you're tremendous.
I think we've had good chemistry and stuff in the past, like in films, and it wasn't difficult to obtain.
I always thought so too. And there have been some actors who I'm not going to name here that I think are wonderful actors that there is zero chemistry, and I just can't work with them. I'm not sure what it is. It's just weird, right? And so I was very blessed to work with Berkman, who I thought we had a great chemistry, and then I got to work with you. I thought we had great chemistry, and it's been wonderful. And I can't thank you enough for that. That's high praise coming from you, especially.
I mean it. Thank you. I mean it.
But yeah, I think that's why I got into the movies, because it wasn't hard, really. I understood how to do the character building. I think being a dungeon master in Dungeons and Dragons, I think, sort of God. Everyone thinks I'm crazy. I swear to God, that helps
You
because
know,
you understand character building, you understand story building, and all that stuff comes into play. And you can be different people. And I'm a schizophrenic or whatever, but for me, it was really. I swear to God, that really helped me do that. But Eric Whiting, anyway, he had a movie Primordial, starring the great Mary Lee Osborne, who I miss terribly. She moved away from us. But in that movie, I got to play a character called Tayshawn, who was so much different than me. It was crazy. He was this thugged out guy, and it was so funny because I had been in 3 or 4 movies, and Eric had me come over, and he wanted me to play the character Tayshawn, and I was like, "I'm in, baby, I'm in." So I went nuts. I got like fake tattoos all over my body. I shaved my beard. I got a weird haircut. I got weird clothes, and I showed up to set, and no one knew who the fuck I was. Everyone was like, "Who is this? Who is this person?" But it was so fun, and I got to work with Erin in that scene and be the worst version of myself I've ever been in my life to another human being. But it was so freeing to be that character. And ever since I've made that role, I've always said the nicest people make the best villains,
Yeah.
and I love that. I love that because they get to have the freedom to be something they've never been, and I got to be evil, and I wanted to use that character again, and so from that, I just said I want to use this character more, and I wrote a script for Eric Whiting. I'm like, look, let's do this. We want to do this. I again, super naive. And I was not aware how much directing takes out of you. We had just finished Primordial. He's probably still editing the thing. And I'm like, let's shoot this, let's shoot this, let's shoot this. I'm like, dude, he's like, I can't shoot a movie for 5 years. I'm beat. And I didn't understand it. And I'm like, I have locations for us. They're going to be gone in 2 months. Like, can't help you. So I had to jump in and I'm like, I got to do this. I got to do this script. I got to do this character. And so there we go. I just got a bunch of good friends like Erin and, a script and a hope. And I jumped out there, gave it a shot. And yeah, if I had to give any advice for people on my commentary, I would say this for sure. Know how to light your scenes, know how to do sound, get a microphone close to people. I did not do that. I did a lot of theater. And so I wanted to shoot everything wide because I thought, hey, that's beautiful. It's wide shots. Well, they're terrible for sound. They're terrible for everything. And they're hard to cut anything and they're boring. So it took me a while to figure that out. So, but yeah, no, the movie turned out really, really well. I'm very proud of it. People to Kill, rock on. If you haven't seen it, give it a shot. It was a lot of fun. Great acting. I think the story is great. Effects aren't bad.
It's a hell of a movie. You really don't know what's happening next. Like it's like, what? How is this going to? What is this character going to do? Why is this character here? Like, I had a great time with my character because you don't know what to think about her. Like, I feel like when you watch the movie, you're like, oh, okay, I could see where she's coming from. But at the same time, like, oh, she's kind of a jerk. Like, oh, she's really a jerk. Oh, no, maybe she's all right. Like, there is a lot of there are a lot of layers there. And I really appreciate it because it was fun to figure out how to play.
No.
And you knocked it out of the park, of course.
Thank you.
But
So you were talking about this. This is so funny, but you're right on the Dungeons and Dragons stuff and all that funness because I play Dungeons and Dragons, but you were talking about the good people make the best villains, or the best villains, play the good. You were in wrestling. Were you a face or a heel?
I was a cowardly heel.
Okay.
I played a character called the Trekkie, actually. And I was like this goober character who came down and thought he was tough. And he tried to use the Vulcan neck pinch. And it only worked on refs. It never worked on actual wrestlers. And I'd try it, and I get the shit kicked out of me every time. And so it was just fun. And people love seeing me as a, kind of a big guy anyway, to go out there and be all smarmy and geeky and then get the crap kicked out of me. It was a spot thing, but it was fun.
Okay. I got a great story for you. I won't say the wrestler's name, but he was a he wasn't big, but he was the verge of big time. He's been since canceled, unfortunately.
Oh no.
Me and him had a discussion, and because he at one point had a belt that could be defended anywhere, at any time. And I was like, man, I had a funny thing because me and him were sitting at a show one time. I was like, yeah, I had a funny thing. I was like, I wanted to walk up and do the Vulcan neck pinch, drop, and then get the title, and then be the title holder for. And he's, oh hell yeah, I'd do it. And I'm like, really? He goes, I'm already done. Next time I come around, we'll do this. And I'm like, okay. And by the next time I come around, he'd been canceled. And I'm like, damn it.
You could have been a
Yep.
contender. You
Yep.
could have been a contender.
But now I have a friend down in Tennessee. He's a horror host, good guy named Tony. Goes by the name Hack. He's done some movies down there. He's done some movies on some bigger people and whatnot. But he's supposed to be former professional wrestler, but he keeps wrestling. We're supposed to have a match. So I have a title belt that I got through the shop. So I'm going to put the title belt on another one of my friends, the pro wrestler, send him down, have him defend it, lose it to my buddy. Then my buddy will come up here, and then I got to come out of retirement and go get my title back to bring it back to my company so that he doesn't have it anymore. And that's where we're.
I'm rooting for you.
Wow. Yeah.
And the worst part about it is that I tried out for wrestling years ago, and now I'm fitter, way fitter now than I ever was when I was trying out for wrestling.
I can't say that. I've gone the other way.
Yeah. I had to, man. I woke up one day and I could not keep up with my youngest son, and I went, I can't do this. Tina's like, you want to go to the gym? I'm like, yes. Yes, I do. And
Yeah. They keep you young, though.
Oh, man. Oh, he does. He does. My youngest is going to be 14. He's my size height wise, but he outweighs me. He has autism, so he's probably emotionally about 9'10", and he'll be 14. And he still wants to play like he's a little kid.
Mm-hmm.
And he probably outweighs me by at least 40 pounds.
Wow.
And so when we're playing, we're actually like, but yeah. But long story short, he's the reason I had to start getting in shape, because I could not keep up with Vince at all.
Aww.
The one day he tore across
you.
the park, and I'm like, I can't do this.
Yeah, my son's going back to college here in this next coming Saturday. He lives on the 4th floor, and I am not looking forward to those steps, man.
No.
I'm really concerned. I'll try to make it up, and we'll see.
That's
If I
too
make
many
it down,
stairs.
don't know if I can make it up.
Oh,
Say again.
I said that's too many stairs.
Too many stairs.
You're moving things. Yeah, that's awful.
And we got
Awful.
to park in the parking garage in the basement, so it's actually 6 flights
ooh,
to his room.
I
And
hate everything about this.
I do too. So
what all do you got to move? Like, do you have to move like a bed, mini fridge, all that?
Well,
fun stuff?
yeah, fridge for sure. No bed, but I don't know where he got this from. He likes to read, and books are heavy, and he carries these boxes of books everywhere he goes. He doesn't leave the house without 4 books in his arms, and he just reads all the time. So he doesn't have like light shit to carry. It's these big boxes of books. I'm like, why do you read?
Horrible.
He's stupid
good
like
for
your
him,
dad.
but that's-
Don't read.
Yeah.
Oh,
Uh,
that,
oh my
no.
God.
oh, that's what all my friends yelled at when they helped us move to this location. They're like, "Why is everything Paul have heavy?" I was like, "It's books and records and video
quality.
games." And
Yeah.
Quality.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, "You guys are lucky. I'm not making you drag all the comic books with me. Those are in storage."
Those can get thick fast,
Oh,
like dense. Yeah, I can't imagine.
yeah,
Yikes.
yeah, about 50 pounds a box, and yeah,
Don't like that.
tiring quick.
Crazy.
So with everything you got going on, you worked
Yes.
on Jackass Flats with
Did.
Mike and Erin.
Mhm.
And can you tell us some about that, since we talked with Mike about it, so now we get to talk to you about it.
Yeah, I watched that show, and it was great to see Aaron and Mike for sure. And I think what Mike said is very true. He said that he got a lot of people on board because after COVID, Everyone wanted to do something light and frilly and ridiculous. And I can't thank Mike enough for that, because that's exactly what we all needed. I know I did for sure, and it got to be fun. Plus, I like being a cowboy. I've been a cowboy a lot. I'm not sure why I get sheriffs and cowboys all the time.
Yeah.
So, but I got it. I look good as a cowboy, I gotta say. Usually, that's like my best look. All right, see, Erin knows.
Very villainy with that the dark clothes and I was like, oh, this guy's up to no good. This guy is the big trouble.
Yes.
In Jackass class.
Yes. No, Mike was wonderful. The cast is great. Kind of like, I got lucky and he had a lot of friends, and he deserves everything he's got going. He's a wonderful, wonderful guy. I don't think anyone can say a bad word about Mike. If Erin, anybody, I got nothing and nobody, right?
I can't think of one person. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Everyone wants to support him. Everyone wants to see him succeed. And I've done anything for the guy. So I was happy to be a part of it. And it was fun. Got to work with Erin again, which is always fun. And she got to browbeat me like she usually does. And it's fun.
Oh yeah, I mean, come on.
It was great to see. Canistaro was wonderful because he went in very much like me, where he didn't know really what he didn't know. And as you very correctly said, to start off your first movie with a period Western I was like, dude, I wasn't trying to talk him out of it, but I was strongly saying, man, it's gonna be really, really hard, really, really hard. And so I'll do anything I can for you, but it's going to be really, really hard. But by God, man, everything he did from casting was a wonderful idea. That he got great locations and got them to work with him, and they looked beautiful. And he worked so hard on learning how to edit, and then he took classes on how to edit, and then how to light things and how to work with it. And he, as he went along, you saw him grow, and he got better all the time. All the time. I was so impressed with him.
Both you and Mike are two of the most determined men I've ever met in my life. And I love it. It's super inspirational. Like, you just don't you're like, this is going to be hard, but I'm going to figure it out. And it's going to be all right. And it's incredible. I think my part, I'm acting. Like that's it. You guys are doing, acting, editing, directing, like all that. For me, it would be so overwhelming. And you guys have been, obviously successes, and it's very cool to see. I'm so proud of you both.
Well, I appreciate that. It's a lot. It's definitely a lot of hard work for sure. But he took a harder road than I did, but he flying colors. I can't wait to see the movie. I've seen pieces of it, and I really enjoy it. I love the slapsticky stupidity of it. It was so needed. It really was for me. In fact, it changed me. The COVID thing changed me. This movie I'm doing now, The Dying Place, was originally a very, very dark film. And I had a lot of awful, tortury things in it. And I lost some friends during COVID. And coming out of it, I was like, I cannot make this movie. My heart's not there anymore. I'm a different person. It's a different world. So that's been a lot of hardness with this one. It's just trying to find out what it is now and change it a little more funny, a little bit more ridiculous than evil, because I think that Mike had the right tone, and I really appreciated it. So
it was a lot of fun.
That's one thing I've noticed a lot, is that if you get out of a certain place, like I've written scripts and had stuff ready to go, and I wrote one, and by the time it came down to it, I wasn't in that place anymore. And I just kind of like, I can't go back there. That's way too dark. And I'm in too good of a place. And I'm like, I'm good. I'm fine. So
100%.
Yeah. So even if I still jot down notes for stuff I want to make. And they may be really, really dark subject matter, but I'm in a happier place. So it's almost a parody, or of the darkness is where I'm at now, and I'm like, I'm going with that now. So
totally get it. Yep. Totally get it.
Yeah. So I gotta ask though, because I gotta go back to the dang building that we so with it gone, what did you do?
Well, that's a great question. What did I do? Panic at first, for sure. I legitimately
number one.
okay, it's crazy, but I legitimately walked like around where the building should be and did everything but call for the dog. Like, Lassie, where are you? I looked around like it was gonna fucking appear, like it's gonna suddenly be there because it was just so
It was cloaked, man. You're a Star
I was
Trek
in
fan.
such
It's a cloaked building.
it was close. I was in such disbelief. I couldn't fathom it. It was the weirdest thing ever happened to me. Like a building's gone. So I tell you what, though, the strangest thing happened out of that. A block away was this other really weird ruinsy looking area.
Uh-huh.
It was all blocked off with a fence. And I'm like, well, what the hell is this place? And on the front of it, it was a paintball, an urban paintball place. I'd never
Okay.
seen one before.
Yeah.
And this guy had bought like 2 blocks of downtown decaying Dayton area near Riverside.
Yeah.
And it was on a Saturday morning at 9:30 in the morning. And I'm like, my location's gone. I don't know why I even thought of calling the guy and saying, "Can we use your place?" And who's going to answer anyway? And I was the coolest dude, man. Darren, he owns. I should really give him a really good thumbs up. He sold that and bought a new place out here near Enon. It's a paintball place. I'd love to give him a shout out if I knew the name of the place, but I can't go. But anyway, I called him and like I was like in panic mode. And then 20 minutes later, he called me and said, "Hey, no problem. You want to shoot there? Just crawl through this area of the fence over here that's not locked, all right? And, don't do any damage and let me know how it goes." And I was like, "Are you kidding me? What are I mean, of the 2 weird things that happened, I'm not sure which is weirder. The fact that the building was gone or the fact that this guy who didn't know me from anything, on a Saturday morning gives me a call back and was like, "Yeah, go ahead and use my place. I don't care. Good luck." And it was the coolest thing. And it actually worked out really well. It's a beautiful location. It was
That's
so
awesome.
weird. So that actually worked out like gangbusters. It was the strangest thing. So no, it worked out. It's just, but that, I tell you what, I don't know that I would have done that the first movie, but as a director, dude, you've got to keep your head.
Mm-hmm.
Things are going to go wrong. You're going to lose an actress. You're going to lose an actor. You're going to lose a location. You're going to lose this. If you can't adapt and move forward and come up with a new idea, you're not going to finish your movie. I don't care who you are. It's just you have to have that attitude, and you can't panic. You can on the inside, but you have to get it together and work out. But that was just a miracle. That was just a creative thinking. How am I going to solve this problem? And it worked out.
Heck yeah. Yeah. Because I'm sitting there, I was like, it was rumbling in my head. I'm like, what the hell happened after that? So I had to find it.
Yeah,
I was just saying.
Go
ahead.
There's a building, the Lyndon Davis building down. It's off of 30 anyway. 35. Beautiful building, and I had some ends there. I was going to try to work something out and work over there. I'm like, I could probably pull something off. You get half of my day in, get something done, use that area. But no, just creatively thinking worked out.
Hell yeah. That's amazing.
I feel like 80% of filmmaking is just solving problems like all day long. It just, oh shoot, there's a problem. Like, yeah, the lighting's messed up. Well, this person didn't show up. This person's going to be late. What can we do in the meantime? Can we do anything in the meantime? The costumes are messy. Like there's always something going on. So you're right. You got to keep your cool. It's very difficult.
Oh, yeah. It's so funny because, we talked about this, about how, there's that whole community of filmmakers down in the Dayton area. And I occasionally will pitch an idea past like one of my friends. I'm like, "Hey, I got an idea for a movie." And they're like, "Don't do a period piece," which I think that's funny because that's my first movie. Boom, right out the thing. I'm like, I'm thinking 80s, and he thinks 1880s. And I'm like, and they're like, "You know how hard it would be to get?" I'm like, for me, no, it would not be hard at all to do an 80s themed. I was like, I just go outside and get my cars and I could set up everything with like the 80s if I wanted to. But yeah, it's this really cool community that you guys all exist in. And I love the fact that you can all bounce ideas off each other and work together. And, you're sharing a lot of the same cast. So, you get a repertoire with these people and these people, and then these people go, okay, well, I trust her. I've worked with her before, and you can bring them in, and it's so cool that happens not far from me. Is amazing. So,
well, if I had to do over again, it wouldn't have. I can't give everything away. I killed some people in the first movie. I'm not gonna say who. I'm not gonna say who. That I would have loved to have had in the second movie, but I killed them. So if you have a group of friends you like, don't make a murder movie and do a sequel after it because you can't use them anymore. Then you get yourself in trouble. So don't kill your friends. Don't kill your friends, Erin.
Okay.
Just
Right.
Evil Dead it. Just make the entire first movie all over again with the original. What's the original?
Oh, there you go.
You can do that again.
Yeah.
That is a way. There is a way.
Yeah. Or you just do it was a twin the entire time. Dun, dun,
Right.
dun. Or,
Actually, in a weird way, I kind of made Erin
Yeah.
a twin in my movie of a character. Anyway, I thought that was actually funny. So you mentioned that. Yes, you can do
Yeah.
that.
yep, 100%.
There are
I forgot about
workarounds.
that, though. You mentioned that. Like, oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Savannah was a twin.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, what's really funny about us talking is that usually towards the end of the episode I always ask what advice do you have for new filmmakers, but you already answered that like 30 minutes ago, so that defeats the
Well, I thought that was the thing I should do. I mean,
Yeah.
I went through so much stupidity that I put myself through. I wouldn't want anyone to suffer that if I could.
No.
If I could save someone else that problem, I'm like, I want to save someone else that problem. No, make sure your sound's tight. Make sure your script is set before you film anything. Make sure your schedule is right. Make sure you don't overextend your actors. If people can listen to that and learn from it, hey, dude, have fun.
Heck yeah. And I think that's one thing is that I think a lot of these people need you make the set fun. Because man, if they're there and it becomes a job, you're like, I don't want to be here. I could be working, making,
I always say, and this is something that I think probably infuriates other people, but this has been my experience. I feel like a lot of the sets I've been on, I love so much because it feels like I'm getting together with my friends. We're making a thing, and like it feels silly and fun, and then somehow a movie comes out of it. And I know that sounds like really awful because there's so much work that I don't do. I just show up and act and everything, which is work. But like, there's the editing and the sound, and there's more. So I don't mean to like take anything away from that, but I'm just saying, like, from my point of view, being on set and somehow you're hanging out with your friends and somehow a movie happens is how a lot of it has been, and it's been like a miracle. Like it's so great every time.
Got together for a party and suddenly a movie sprung out of it. It's like, yeah.
I tell you, I enjoy acting a hell of a lot more now after being a director than I did before. Because just what she said, I can go on the set, do my part, have a great time with everybody, and then peace out. It's not my problem anymore. And that is that's definitely nice.
Mm-hmm.
My wife always has not my monkeys, not my circus. I was like, until it becomes my monkeys and my circus, and then I'm like, dang it, I don't want to deal with this. Because then you don't deal with just the monkeys, you deal with the clowns, the elephants, the chimpanzee.
Everybody.
Yes.
Everybody in that tent.
Everybody under the big top. Yep. So what can you tell us about your new upcoming projects you got going on?
Well, the only thing I'm directing currently is a movie called The Dying Place, and it is sort of in the same world as People to Kill. It is it's the story of a manager of I'm not going to call it a brothel, I'm not going to call it it's kind of a pleasure house, but kind of anything goes location.
A house of ill repute.
It is, but there's other things going on. There's crime there. There's other things there. You're pretty much paid to do whatever you want in this place. And there's a new element coming in. The person who's moving out, the manager, doesn't really like this new element coming in. And it's kind of the last day of the job of a guy in the middle of a hellstorm trying to keep things from getting worse. So it's got a great cast. Some people I've worked with before. Iabu Windermere's in it. Kayla Elizabeth from Toledo, who I have come to adore.
She's incredible.
She's tremendous.
Yeah.
And then James Edwards, you might know, who's an actor, big actor in the 80s, and today he's tremendous. He's a director. He did Her name was Krista. He directed that. He directed Brimstone's Incorporated. Tremendous actor. If you get a chance to talk to him, he's wonderful. He's one of my actors in it. So I got a lot of people I've had before. Ken Starr makes an appearance in it as a comedian. He's tremendous in it, of course. He was husband Joe Kidd's in it for a little bit. So I got a bunch of people I know, but a few people I haven't worked before that it's really fun. So so it's comedy, it's gore, I like to make my movie a little bit of everything. People to Kill is that way. It had some terrible elements to it, but it was also funny. So that's what it's going to be. It's going to be a showdown. Who's going to win this battle for this horrible place?
There you go. Cool. So I know you've done, like I said, we've done acting, you've done writing, and you've done the directing.
Sure.
We asked about the advice for filmmaking. What's your advice for people who want to get into acting?
Oh boy,
I can ask you three things. I can ask you about all that stuff.
How do you get into acting? It's hard for me to say that. I kind of just fell into it. I loved it from the get-go. Erin might be a better person to ask how to get into acting. I told you I fell into it. I was lucky. I did some theater work. I knew how to do theater. My energy was out there. I was willing to be silly and be stupid and put myself out there. If you can do that, I think you'll be okay. But then sometimes you have to have luck. I mean, I guess online on Facebook or whatnot, there are people looking for actors for that all the time. I need an actor for this. I need actors for that. You got to make a decision if it's what you want to do. If you want to put your name out there, give it a shot, and go. Just be aware that for the most of us, there's not a lot of money into it and a lot of time involved to get involved in these kind of things. But some people absolutely will do anything to be in a movie. I've got friends of mine who just come up, they'll drive 4 hours just to be an extra in the background because they love being around the energy of the set, and they can go. So there's always opportunities. People are always asking for extras. Go as be an extra, get to know a few people, and then they might bring you back for something else. Kind of what happened with me. I mean, I did okay in Awkward Thanksgiving, and I got pulled back, so you give your best shot, go out there and see what you can do, and it might work out for you.
Yep.
I'd say be if you really want to do it, be persistent. Because I remember when I first started getting into film acting, because I had done theater too, in the Brookville area in Ohio, and I decided I wanted to try film acting, and I had a friend who I was in a play with there who happened to be going to OU, and she was a film student there, so I was cast in her student film. So I kind of dipped my toe in a little bit there, and I liked it. And then I ended up going to a convention and actually meeting Dustin Mills there. Just had a conversation with him. Was talking to him about his movie that he happened to be playing on the table and on his table. And I was like, I really like this. And I was like, are you like casting anybody? And he was like, oh yeah. And so I sent him the student film that I did, and he really liked the scene and gave me a chance, and it was great. But I was also turned down from a film organization in Dayton that I won't name. It's okay. But it was for a web series, and I remember feeling like really discouraged. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to continue this other alternative method. So just because you can't do it one way, like in a one avenue, if it doesn't exactly like work out for you, there are people all the time casting, and Dayton's actually and Cincinnati are pretty active as far as film goes. So you'll find your niche if you really want to do it. You'll find your people for sure, because I did, and it seemed against all odds. So
Absolutely.
Yep. All right. Well, I don't want to keep you too much longer, Adam. But I do always ask, where can people find you online, and where can they find your movies?
Well, I'm 50 and you're 50 and you're probably smooth with the technology. I'm not smooth with technology. I have fallen into the grandparents trap. So on Facebook, you can find me, Adam Clevenger, or you can go to People to Kill. That's on web. That's People to Kill on Facebook as well. Epic Failure Productions, Epic Failure Productions at yahoo.com is my email address. So if you want to give me a confirmation about there, so if you're looking to be an actor, you're looking for this, any advice you want to have, I'll do the best I can to give you some advice here and there and everywhere. So yeah, just old school. I don't do Instagram. I don't do Snapchat. I probably should, but yeah, for me, it's just Facebook and old school Yahoo Mail, baby. Give me a shout out.
I am Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Well, Twitter, X, Instagram. I
See?
tried TikTok for a second, and I'm still Gmail. And technically, I still have my original AOL mail. It's where junk mail gets sent, but I
My goodness.
Because I am.
But I guess I should give a shout out to my distributor. So People to Kill got bought out by MakeFlix. People to Kill got bought by MakeFlix, and they're distributing it. So if you want to go to MakeFlix.com, they can get a copy there. If you're really desperate and want to chat with me, I have a few copies here and there. I can probably get you out too. So
cool. And are any of your movies that you're currently in, are they available to stream online? Or is that sad?
Boy, let's see. I don't really look back at them that often to tell you. I know Bulldog for Christmas with Miss Erin Ryan's there, but I am not there.
Yeah.
I know Primordial was. Alone in the Ghost House probably isn't anymore.
Yes. Alone in the Ghost House is, because I just watched that a couple days ago on either Tubi or Plex. I can't remember.
On Tubi. Yeah, you're right. So Scareways, I'm not sure. Brimstone Incorporated is on Amazon. So we'll say that. I guess I am in that. There is, well, yeah, I think it's probably all I could think that would actually be out there and about. But
and
I have a few things in the works now. Maybe in the future I have a different answer for you.
And for those who don't, you can always just look up Adam on IMDb. You find his movies, then go look them up on Tubi or Plex, or just Google put search on your Roku or your Fire, and then it'll find those movies, and you can go watch them.
I would appreciate it. Absolutely. Hopefully you'll find something you really enjoy, and I appreciate your time here. I warned Erin I'm only about 20% interesting, and she's going to have to carry me. So I appreciate her help on that for sure.
True.
Erin's 100% interesting. So
thank you. Appreciate it. I try. If not interesting, at least goofy. That helps.
Yeah. As somebody goes, you got a co-host. I'm like, yeah, because you can only stare at this face for so long. You gotta have something pretty.
I feel you.
But yet again, Adam, I greatly appreciate it. Anytime you'd like to come back on, give me a heads up. We'll talk other stuff. Hell, we can talk nerdy stuff and geeky Star Trek.
I would probably be better doing that for sure than talking about me. So you let me know what you need. Literally,
I just watched the other day, and I watched like a 30-minute documentary on how many Constitution class starships there were. And I'm like, I don't know why I did that, but I did.
I'm proud of you. How's that?
And then I get to a certain point where they're like, well, 12 of them exist, but then you have these 4 that were refits of other ships that became Constitution class, and I'm just like, I went to Doug. Oh man, why did I do this?
You dug too deep. You dug too deep.
Oh man, like the other day, I found out there was over 500 Star Trek books, and I'm like, I might have read 100, and 500. That's a lot.
Well, that's a lot.
Yes,
that's a lot.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't even know if I own a Star Trek book anymore. I used to have a ton of them, but when I moved, I started like trying to downscale.
Sure.
And I'm pretty sure I still got some floating around. I got a ton of Star Wars. That's my go-to, unfortunately.
Good thing.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
One of my favorite things from my movie, People to Kill, was a joke about how Star Trek is better than Star Wars. And so if you've ever seen it, you would know what I'm talking about, but you have to give it a shot.
Yeah. We have the joke, if you could watch a movie, if you could watch Star Trek Wars or Star Wars Trek, which would be the show that you would watch? And
Star Trek Wars every day.
Yeah. And the other one was, do you think that the Star Wars movies exist in the Star Trek universe?
Oh, I hope not.
We've come to the conclusion the original trilogy exists.
Okay.
Because at a certain point, before the prequels came, that's when Khan shows up. That's when World War III starts. So we never get the prequels or the sequels. We only get the original trilogy in that universe.
Then once again, Star Trek is save the day because of World War III stopping the prequels. Thank you, God, Star Trek. I'm a bigger fan than ever. Thank you for that, Paul.
Don't get and do not let us get into the conversation about the Blade Runner, Alien, and Predator universes. So
I saw Alien Romulus just the other night, and it was wonderful. Did you see it?
Oh, Thursday. Went and seen it Thursday.
Haven't seen it yet.
It's great.
It's old school. It goes back to Alien.
I've heard, yeah, because that sounds incredible to me. But I've heard either people really love it or they really hate it. Like it's very divisive.
Wow.
So
everybody that I've talked to in the shop, 7 out of 10, solid 7 out of 10. There's a couple of goofy scenes. Probably most horrific monster that's ever existed in the Alien universe is what shows up at the end.
Cool.
That thing is just icky.
Monsters are my favorite. I'm into that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so if anyone wanted to Romulus, shout out and thumbs up. I will give it. How about that? I give it a thumbs up. It's good.
Yep. Me too. Loved it. I almost went and seen it again Friday night at the drive-in. Luckily, I did not because the drive-in was out of focus from what I was told. And I'm like, that's good. So, but yet again, sir, yeah, anytime. Like I said, we'll talk Star Trek and Star Wars and D&D and all that funness.
All right. Yeah, hard up, hit me up.
All right, man. Well, you have yourself a good night and take care. And I'm going to get ready to eat here in a few minutes. But see you later. And talk to Erin before we leave out of here. So just exit out.
Bye, everyone. Appreciate it. Good to see you as always,
Bye.
See, there we go.
Thank you.
All right.